in Hansard's answers from the Foreign Minister. What an extraordinary performance from the government's Foreign Minister today. Senator Wong coming in here and refusing to answer the most basic questions. The first question is, given the appalling impacts we're seeing on the ground in the Middle East, but now the repercussions throughout our economy, people fearful of going to the fuel bowser, people fearful about what's happening to their jobs, why does Labor still continue to support this war? And we couldn't get a coherent answer from the Foreign Minister. Something about Iran being bad, ignoring the illegality of the war, ignoring the reckless expansion of Donald Trump, ignoring the fact that this war is costing people's jobs and livelihoods, and we get this endless patter because they absolutely refuse to stand up for Australia's national interests, to stand up for Donald Trump and to say we do not support this war. Labor's utterly gutless approach to this is surrendering our national interests, supporting a war that is destroying jobs, destroying the economy, throwing the world into chaos. You haven't even got the courage to articulate why. The second answer from Senator Wong was an extraordinary performance, asking why this government hasn't come out and opposed Israel's invasion of Lebanon, Israel's threats to turn the southern part of Lebanon into another Gaza. And we get this performance from Senator Wong, where she comes out and says, very concerned about displacement, very concerned about people losing their home, as though it was happening by some kind of natural disaster, as though it was an unnamed flood. I'll tell you why it's happening, because of Israel's illegal war and the complete inability of Senator Wong to even say Israel, to even point out that its government is driving this appalling conflict in Lebanon, driving people from their homes, killing more than 1,000 Lebanese, can't even say the word Israel because they know that will offend Donald Trump and they dare not do that. And then the last, when we ask why on earth, with all of the chaos that's been produced from this war, the dreadful chaos running through the Australian economy, the people feeling anxious about their jobs, people feeling anxious about the world, the killing that's happening in the Middle East, why won't the Australian government join with other middle powers around the world and actually stop supporting the war? Say there'll be no support for US global war making. Bases here can't be used. Bases in Spain can't be used. Bases in the UK can't be used. Why not call together middle powers to speak for peace? Because if you want to open the Strait of Hormuz, the only way is peace. Why won't the government join with middle powers? And do you know what? The Labor's Foreign Minister Wong wouldn't even address the question. And do you know why? Because they're utterly gutless. They are afraid of Donald Trump. They're afraid of standing up to Trump and Netanyahu's illegal war, and they don't even have the courage to articulate why. It's an extraordinary betrayal of Australia's national interest. And then the rest of this question time, it was like we're living in some alternate reality, some complete fantasy. This government and the other war parties, One Nation and their friends in the coalition, tell us we're going to war in the Middle East to stop an aggressive expansionist power in the Middle East from having access to illegal nuclear weapons programs. Now, I know it's about as popular as a fart in the elevator, but let's be clear. Israel, which is leading this war with Donald Trump, is an aggressive expansionist power in the Middle East with hundreds of illegal nuclear weapons, which they allow no international inspection of. That's the truth, and why nobody in this chamber can speak that basic truth about this war, the utter hypocrisy at the very centre of it. And now, apparently, the new story is we're all going to go to war and support the US war against Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. How on earth did the Strait of Hormuz get shut in the first place? It got shut because of the illegal war from Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu that the Labor government was the first government in the world to support. And now we're going to go to war, continue to support the US war, to open up the Strait of Hormuz that was only shut because of this illegal war in the first place. You couldn't make this stuff up. And finally, we get this run from One Nation that they're deeply concerned about fuel security. The climate deniers who have refused ever to support renewable energy, which would give us energy security right now. The same party whose leader went over and had a party with Donald Trump just before he started this illegal war now complain about their mate's war. And they probably got flown there in Gina Rinehart's executive jet. That's who One Nation is, a bunch of bloody hypocrites.
Expired. Resume your seat. Are there any motions? Senator, order.